In this video, we have come to Harlech in North Wales for a very special occasion, a very unusual occasion. Before we get into it, we will be doing a separate video on Miss Hubnut's channel about Harlech itself. Very interesting, wonderful preserved castle here with this rather splendid walkway and stunning Snowdonian views all around. Now we are in Harlech because it claims to have the world's steepest street. That claim is challenged by Baldwin Street in Dunedin, New Zealand. Me and this very Ford Fairmont AU have driven down that street. We're wondering if any vehicles have driven down both contenders. Well, we think it's probably unlikely. So we're going to go and find the Harlech version and we'll see how it compares. We are climbing the steepest street in the world, where you can drive both ways. Oh, that is steep. So there we go. I'm struggling to stand up even on this relatively level bit, but that gets quite seriously steep. Right, so we've got the castle just behind us. And we come from the town itself. It is a beautiful little town, but we will explore that later. I think we need to go down here for Fford Llech. Was that good? Was that good?
That was good, dear.
The world's steepest street. Sign! Camera lady, pay attention.
Where's the sign?
Here, right in front of us. No, here.
Oh.
There we go.
It's alright, I was looking at the 40% when it's not 40%.
No, so Guinness Records, they've got the sign up, but actually Guinness Records have taken that away and given it back to Baldwin Street. When I was in New Zealand, going down Baldwin Street, which you can also drive up, you can only drive down this one. I'm going to put her in first for some extra engine braking. Not that there is much. Yeah, the title was held by Wales, but Baldwin Street challenged it. They came here and had a look and said, no, this isn't the same. So they measured the average down the middle of the road, and apparently Baldwin Street is steeper. But this was a lot more twisty. Baldwin Street is straight. So already it's very, very twisty. Beautiful view of the castle. Just there. Oh, I can hear some planes flying overhead. Probably heading to the Llech loop.
I can't see them, I can hear them.
But yeah, this is very different. I don't feel too steep yet, although I am having to brake constantly, so we're keeping the speed down so we don't get the brakes too hot. She's a big old girl, this Betty. She's also filthy. I'm afraid that's just the time of year. Oh, okay. This is starting to look a bit steeper. Oh, yeah. It probably isn't giving you a good impression, but it is blooming steep.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm kind of falling out of my seat at this point.
Oh no.
Oh. You wouldn't want to be doing this on an icy day.
What, like today?
Oh yeah, it's quite icy. No, it's 8 degrees. It's
tropical.
blooming tropical now. It's been quite chilly on the way over. That's very tight. So yeah, if you went down the edge, I can see how this would be steeper in places, but crikey. Woo! And there we go, we are down. There we go, well done Betty. There can't be many cars that have done that have been down the steepest street in the world when it was New Zealand, although it wasn't actually technically at the time, and down the steepest street here as well, even though this one isn't anymore. So actually she's too late for both of them. It's a very weird concept. But yeah, she's probably the only car in the world that has been down the steepest street in the world on both sides of the world. Does that make sense? Does that make it sounds weird?
She likes the first, doesn't
Yeah.
she, Betty? She did the first beaching on either side.
Yeah. Right, we're going to go back to the top now. I'll tell you what, that's quite interesting in itself. So we'll go and do that. But here's the castle. You can see it's a wonderful position. I'm trying not to talk too much about the castle or the location itself, but we're in North Wales. This is Gwynedd, I presume. And yeah, very beautiful part of the world. Very different scenery to where we are down in Mid Wales. Or are we West Wales?
We're west.
West Wales. and then we'll go back up to the top again, because frankly this is more interesting. This is a mere 25%. This is probably why they don't let people drive up for Llech, because it's quite difficult to get up this one, to be honest, especially if you're in a big car that's quite powerful with rear wheel drive and an open diff. Oh, there's a traction control kicking in. And this is tight. Oh, that's got the traction control going berserk. Whoa. So actually going up this road I think is more interesting than coming down the steepest street in the world, or is it? So there you go. But the corners definitely make it a very different experience to being in New Zealand, where, like I say, it's just a straight run on what feels like a housing estate. But how brilliant that we've done both. It's quite extraordinary, really. So there we go. She's absolutely filthy because it's been a mucky old day on the Welsh roads, lots of salt around, but this is probably the only car that's driven down the world's steepest street on both sides of the world. It's quite an achievement. So this is the gradient as measured at the steepest point, I think 37.45. But as you walk down it, it becomes obvious that there is a difference. So if you measure it from the middle, it's obviously going to have a different figure. I think 27.8 is the new amount. So that's what the Guinness World Records people said. That's what it is. So yeah, it's no longer Harlech. It's now gone back to Dunedin. It must be said, they still had the signs up proclaiming it was the world's steepest street in New Zealand as well, even though the officials had said no. But I'll just come down just for a walk on foot to show you the views, because I don't think you get the views as you're in the car. It is quite magnificent. So yeah, it's been nice to come out and have an adventure in Betty, the Ford Fairmont. Like I say, for those who don't know, I bought that car in New Zealand, drove it 8,000 kilometers around New Zealand, and then was fortunate enough to be in a position to bring her to Wales. I've now driven more miles in that Ford Fairmont here in the UK since importing it, getting it on the road in July last year, than I did while I was in New Zealand. So it's a wonderful car. I absolutely love it, and it's been great to have this unique opportunity to take it down the two claimants to the world's steepest street. I'll tell you, I'm getting out of breath. This is definitely fairly steep, even on this fairly mild bit. But yeah, that's the story of my Ford Fairmont's amazing claim to fame. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store and buy lovely merchandise. We've still got a few calendars left that feature this car amongst others. I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell. Mucky.